Business rock stars, and we're back. Now back to Scale the Wall with Thuy Vu.
Hi, I'm Thuy Vu, broadcasting from the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center in San Francisco. This is Scale the Wall, powered by NASDAQ Private Market. Stay private on your own terms. For more information, go to npm.com. Entrepreneurs and small business owners always face challenges. What they need to learn how to do is to scale the wall. This is the segment where we talk about how to scale the wall and how to overcome the challenges that every entrepreneur faces. Joining me is Travis Katz, CEO and co-founder of Trip.com. It's an app that helps you plan your trips and discover local attractions and restaurants. The app also takes it a step further by using artificial intelligence to predict your preferences. Travis, nice to have you here.
Thanks, Thuy. It's great to be here.
So this is a great space, right? Everybody loves to travel, but you're also up against some pretty big players. I mean, even Google is getting into the game. How tough is it to go up against the Googles, the Expedias, and Orbits of the world?
It's incredibly tough. I mean, the failure rate in travel startups is probably amongst the highest out there, and it's for a lot of reasons. One, there are huge incumbents with massive marketing budgets. Some of these guys are spending $500 million on marketing per quarter.
Per quarter?
Per quarter.
Wow.
And beyond that, the challenge with travel is there's a frequency issue that most people are only traveling maybe once or twice a year. And so unlike a messenger app where you can download it, start playing around with it, and you can become hooked, travel doesn't have that same addictive quality. And so you have to figure out other ways to build loyalty and build a business out.
So how do you find ways to build loyalty?
So I think where we focus a lot is on owning the mobile space and really thinking about the idea of travel as being beyond just that once a year vacation, to think about, okay, what am I gonna go for a weekend getaway? You know, maybe I'll go in overnight for the weekend, or maybe I'm just gonna go out on the town for the evening and I'm looking to explore a different part of town. So we really took the idea of travel and thought, how do we expand that and create opportunities for people to come back to use the app in between their sort of big trips. And I think a lot of people told us we couldn't do that the use case between travel and local is too different. But what we found is you actually can. I mean, travelers are looking to go out to dinner as well as locals, but the people are looking for different things. And so what we do is we show you different content in the app when you're in your hometown versus when you're traveling. So for example, if you live in San Francisco, you don't need an app to tell you about the Golden Gate Bridge or Fisherman's Wharf. You already know those are there. You're probably not going to go.
Yeah.
But you do want to know where there are cool cocktail bars, and is there a new restaurant that opened? Are there any cool events happening this week? And so we adapt the content when you're in your hometown to show you more locally relevant experiences. And when you're traveling, we highlight more of the things you expect to see as travelers.
So that's the customer loyalty part. And then recently you also rebranded yourself. You went from being called GoGoBot to Trip.com. Great name. You bought that from Expedia.
That's right.
But were there challenges in rebranding yourself?
Yeah, rebranding. So I guess one recommendation I'd have with entrepreneurs is really think about brand is very, very important in building a company. And obviously you can build huge companies with kind of silly sounding brands. I would say Airbnb is one that you might argue sounds funny when you first hear it. But
now
everybody
uses
it's become
it.
a
Sometimes
household
they even
name.
use it as a verb sometimes.
Yeah,
Are we going to Airbnb it?
So I think one of the things that I learned is that, you know, if you can get your brand, if your product can virally take off in a way that Airbnb did, and you can build a name, any brand kind of will work. But for most companies, it's harder than that, and you have to figure out ways to market yourself. And so the more you can make a brand simple and stand out and memorable, that really helps in growing your business. And so for us, moving to the Trip.com brand at the same time that we were starting to expand internationally made it much easier. When we go to France or we go to Germany and we say Trip.com, people can remember it. If you ask them 5 minutes later what was the name, they know it. And that memorability really helps us with growth.
Do you have any tips on how to stay focused when chaos breaks out?
Well, one of the things I've learned about running a startup is chaos is a constant. It's always chaotic. And you have to be very comfortable with chaos and the idea that something is going to go terribly wrong all the time. And what you need, part of the skill of being an entrepreneur is being able to stay calm in those moments and stay focused on the big picture. And when something goes wrong, to figure out, okay, this has gone wrong, how do we fix it? Can we fix it? And if we can't fix it, what's plan B? And just keep moving forward. And I think having that ability to sort of stay calm, not get your feathers ruffled, and just focus on what you need to do. And a lot of times, things go wrong all the time. That is part of what the game is. And that's part of what makes it fun is okay, how do we adapt to those changes?
What would you say are the 3 biggest lessons to learn in dealing with challenges for the entrepreneur out there?
Well, I think one of them is about resilience, and it's about knowing that, any challenge is surmountable. Well, actually, that's not true. Not all challenges are surmountable, but there's always an opportunity to go around a challenge. And the thing that separates a great leader from a mediocre one is whether you're going to keep going and find a way to essentially to scale the wall and to overcome it. And you have to be creative about that. And you have to be a good problem solver. And so I think people really need to not give up too easily. I think the second one is not to get overly emotional about it. I'm a big believer that calm, deliberative thinking is always the best solution when things are going crazy. Because when you're a leader in a company, your employees are looking to you, and when things go wrong, it can be terrifying for you as a leader, but it can also be really terrifying for the team. And what they need from a leader is leadership and confidence that we're going to get through this, and here's what we're going to do. And so I think remembering that you are ultimately the one steering the ship, and that you have people who are looking to you for that leadership, and so you have to actually really, provide that, and not hiding problems, addressing them head on, and making sure people know, but talking about how we're going to overcome them. And if you don't know, saying we don't know, but this is how we're going to find the answer. Yeah. I think those are 2 of the big ones. I think the third one is just, frankly, making sure you're also focusing on your own personal life balance, and making sure that it's very easy when you're running a company to have your entire life and entire identity wrapped up in your business, to where those setbacks can feel just personally devastating. And you actually have to stay grounded as a human being outside the bounds of work, through relationships with friends or family, through exercise, through meditation, whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that you can stay grounded and understand that this is an aspect of your life, but it's not the entire thing, and that if everything goes wrong, it doesn't mean there are worse things that can happen than that, I guess.
All good lessons. Thanks for sharing them.
Thanks, Twee. It's great talking to you.
Travis Katz, CEO and co-founder of Trip.com.
All right.
Join us every Friday as we scale the wall, powered by NASDAQ Private Market. Stay private on your own terms. For more information, go to npm.com. I'm Twee Vu, and this is Business Rockstars.